Alright everybody, there's a new game out that everybody seems to be talking about. It's even jumped all the way up to #1 on the Steam top bestsellers, and it's only been out for a couple of days at this point. Of course, I am talking about The First Descendant. This game is a third-person open-world looter shooter that's similar in style to Anthem, Outriders, and Warframe in their loot drops, their weapon types, and their ammo ability economy, being based largely on the drops you get from killing your enemies. You take control of characters that are called Descendants to stop attacks from the Vulgus, the Colossi, and any other enemies of the planet Ingris. So I know a lot of that just sounds like words, so let's dig in a little bit to the history of the planet Ingris. Once a beautiful and prosperous planet where humanity thrived, about a century ago, Ingris saw dimensional gates open up, bringing to it the Vulgus, which are an enemy faction that come from the other world, and they defeated humanity, taking over Ingris. But shortly after that defeat came another invading force called the Colossi. These are incredibly large enemies that when they invaded, they destroyed everything that was left. Humanity, trying to oppress their oppressors, finally found hope in the Descendants, which were humans gifted with the Ancestors' power. Now humanity fights back against both the Colossi and Corel, the new current leader of the Vulgus, with ambitions of his own. So like all good looter shooters, when you first load up and you start your game, you get to choose your character to be your avatar in the world. Before going on your first mission, you get to choose which one of the Descendants is going to join Bunny on this very first mission. Your choices are Vyessa, who is a descendant that debuffs using her ice abilities, and her powers are called Frost Shards, Frost Road, Cold Snap, and Blizzard. Your second choice is Lepic, a descendant specializing in grenade attacks. His abilities are Grenade Throw, Overcharge, Traction Grenade, and Overkill. And then the third descendant, the one I chose for my own play, is called Ajax, a descendant who uses void energy for high defense. His abilities are Orbit Barrier, Void Walk, Expulsion, and Hypercube. As you play the game, you'll gain the ability to unlock more Descendants that you can play as you wish. After having put about 4 to 5 hours into this game, I thought it was probably time that I actually compose some of my initial thoughts and feelings about it. So honestly, right out of the gate, I've been having a lot of fun with it. I've been playing it pretty consistently ever since launch, despite any sort of server issues. The world honestly seems really interesting to me. I like the feel of it being open world. I can choose to just go somewhere in the world and run around, or I can dig right into a mission that's right there, or I could just follow the quests that have been given to me, helping me to unlock more of the world and more of the missions. It's been really interesting to me to figure out a different system of character building than that of what I've been used to with Destiny. Instead of trying to pick multiple different abilities, your Descendant has 4 specific abilities that you unlock as they level up. And of course, as you level them up further, those abilities also get stronger. But then you also have various different weapons that all have different types. And of course, the whole mod system is very similar to how Warframe does it, but I have been finding it interesting, even though if I'm being honest, I usually just click set suggested mods. I'm really curious to see where the story goes from this point. So far, I've gone through a couple of missions where I've fought some of the higher ups in the Vulgus faction and unlocked multiple areas. I've even unlocked Bunny as my second descendant. I'm just really curious to see where it goes, because the game starts out really strong with this opening mission where your descendant and Bunny go to retrieve an item called an Iron Heart, but then you are thwarted by Corel and his forces, and he ends up taking the Iron Heart from you. I will admit that the missions seem just a little too simple. For the most part, it's, okay, here's the starting place, now run over here, shoot all of these enemies, now run over here, and start over. It's not very mechanic heavy. It's very easy to pick up. There are a couple of the missions that have some mechanics, but even then it's, oh, the enemy dropped an item, pick it up, take it to this point, done. And from what I've found, all of the major bosses are really just giant bullet sponges, meaning that they're designed to just take a lot of hits. That's really all they do. There's not some mechanic to overcome any sort of like shielding or a way to just do massive amounts of damage. Really, they're just sit there to just take a lot of hits. The initial Void Interceptor battle against the Gravewalker is a good example of this, but I will concede there is a mechanic that I couldn't quite figure out where you can grapple onto them and remove pieces of them. I assume this does more damage, but I was more focused on trying to stay alive and not get hit so much than actually seeing what the health bar did. But I will say that my battle against Greg the Starcross frustrated me to no end because all he was a bullet sponge. Once I finally took away his health, he threw up some shield that made me need to destroy 3 balls around him, and then I had to take all of his health down again. I had to do it 3 times, I think, before that battle was finally over. Of course, the one point of criticism that I've really seen about this game here since it launched was all the microtransactions, but as I dug into it, really, I don't think the microtransactions are any different than what you would commonly expect. There is a battle pass or a season pass that costs about $10, which seems to be pretty normal, and the cosmetics all seem pretty regularly priced. But the biggest point that I personally have a problem with is there are ultimate versions of the Descendants. So there's both an Ajax and an ultimate Ajax. If you want to get ultimate Ajax, you have to get like over 5,000 of their in-game currency, and in order to get that amount, you have to pay $100. And that just seems like a lot to get one character in the game. And then this is honestly just a real small thing, but one thing that I found that I really enjoyed was the in-game notification system. I think that this is miles above anything that I've seen in any other game, including Destiny, where as you're playing, a notification will pop up that just says, hey, we fixed this bug, we fixed this problem, ta-da. I don't know, I found that I thought that was a good, enjoyable, and helpful thing, and I would really love to see other games pick that up. Some tips for your own gameplay from my few hours of experience were, number 1, pay attention to your mods. It's real easy to forget that they exist, but make sure that you always are making sure your mods are equipped, that they're the best that you could possibly have equipped, and if you know you're going to go up against an enemy that, say, has fire resistance, maybe don't take a fire damage mod, or do something that boosts your fire damage even more. Just make sure that you're playing with your mods to make sure that they're fitting the situation that you're in. The second thing, make sure that you level up your mastery whenever it's available. I found myself so many times getting bombarded with a notification that my mastery has now reached the same level that it's already reached, but I couldn't figure out how to actually rank it up. When you launch into Albion and go to the left, you'll see a big gold icon, and that location is where you rank up your mastery. Doing that will give you access to higher mods, it'll up your ammo capacity, it'll up your Descendants abilities, it'll do a lot of things for you. So you have to make sure that your mastery level is consistently getting leveled up. And I guess along with those other 2 items, you also have to make sure you always have your highest level or best gear on you that you can. It's real easy to kind of get playing for half an hour, 45 minutes, and not realize, oh hey, I've picked up an assault rifle that's actually 4 levels higher than the one that I'm currently running. And as soon as you put it on, you're like, oh, well, now I'm doing way more damage than I thought was possible. So make sure that you keep that best gear on your character. As a special note, always make sure that you're not equipping 2 weapons that have the same round type available. There are 4 different round types. There's the general round type, the special rounds, the impact rounds, and the high impact rounds. A friend and I noticed that if you had 2 of these weapons equipped in 2 different slots, that actually what happened as you loaded ammo into one of your weapons, it took reserves from both of these weapons. So what you want to make sure that you do is in all 3 of your slots, make sure you have a different weapon type available. That way you're not burning through your ammo way faster than you think you should be. And then my last point is make sure that you clear out your inventory. I have found that this game is not very good about making sure to let you know your inventory is full. You'll just stop picking things up. And of course, if you're in the heat of battle, you can't stop, junk all your things, just so that way you can pick up some of your items. I know I lost items even though there were some that showed up in my mailbox. And then of course, junking these items actually gets you important enhancement materials for later on in the game. So make sure that you're doing a ton of inventory management, and if you want to make sure that you hold on to something but you don't want to keep it on you, there is a storage box available for you to use. Ultimately, I'm really glad that there's another looter shooter out that I can test, play with, and take a look at. I personally was somebody who really enjoyed Anthem and Outriders and Warframe, and even though I haven't ever mained Warframe and Anthem and Outriders just kind of fizzled out, I'm really excited to keep playing this game and see where it goes. It is not going to overtake Destiny for me in the slightest, but I am having a lot of fun in the world and playing with some new things. So tell me what you think down below. Have you been able to play the First Descendants? Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Or is this a game that you're interested to try? Do you have any questions? Because honestly, I've got more videos to make and I would love to answer questions from you. I'm excited to keep playing this game and see where it goes. I'm probably going to open up another stream night sometime in the week to start playing the First Descendants live with you guys once the servers kind of figure themselves out. And if you like this video, why don't you try and check out one of my other game review videos. I just released a couple weeks ago a video on X-Defiant where I just sat down and tried that for 2 hours. And of course, do all the YouTube things where you like and subscribe with the notifications turned on because it helps the channel and all that. And of course, I will catch you guys in the next video.